Hello, good evening. Let's see who's going to join us tonight. It's nice and cold and chilly here in Hyderabad. So, hi, Zenobia. That's a nice surprise. How have you been? Hi, Sunil. All right, so I'm going to start today's session. Whether people are going to join live or you're going to watch this recording. For all those for all those who may not be familiar, I have been reading excerpts from the book The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael A. Singer. Now, I've been doing it for 12 days. Every day I complete a chapter. And today is day 13. Hello, Sudha. Good to see you again. And there are 5, if I am correct, if I've got it right. I'm sorry if there's a little bit of a noise disturbance in the background. Yes, there are 5 parts to it. And today we're starting the 4th part. It's been divided into 5 parts. The 4th part has a title of its own. It's called Going Beyond. And it is kind of connected to the tagline of the book, which is The Journey Beyond Yourself. So today's chapter is called Taking Down the Walls. Chapter 12, day 13. And I'm going to begin. It's a very, very interesting chapter, really. Up until now, we've been talking about the mind chatter and, how the voice just keeps talking and what we can do about it and what, the different ways of understanding what it is, why it's there, what it says, and who you are in that voice chatter. And then we talked about the heart and the blocking of the heart, and then avoiding things that around our environment to not feel the pain, and so on and so forth, if you've been watching these lives. So today we're going to go, like every chapter, like I say this, right? I mean, Michael takes us deeper and deeper in every chapter. At some point in your growth, it starts to become quieter inside. This happens quite naturally as you take a deeper seat within yourself. You then come to realize that though you have always been in there, you have been completely overwhelmed by the constant barrage of thoughts, emotions, and sensory inputs that draw on your consciousness. Okay? So I'm just going to read that once again. At some point in your growth, it starts to become quieter inside. This happens quite naturally as you take a deeper seat within yourself. You then come to realize that though you have always been in there, you have been completely overwhelmed by the constant barrage of thoughts, emotions, and sensory inputs that draw on your consciousness. The more you sit in the seat of witness consciousness, the more you realize that since you are completely independent of what you're watching, there must be a way to break free of the magical hold that the psyche has on your awareness. There must be a way out. So what he's talking about here is that the more we practice watching our thoughts and watching our emotions and not getting completely drawn into them, able to let the energy move around in our chakras, and so that it doesn't close, it doesn't block, right? We also start becoming aware that it gets quieter inside, because now the mind chatter, it continues, because we're not feeding the fear, we're not holding on to thoughts and emotions to create layers and layers or walls and blocks inside. Okay, so we begin to realize that you, me, everybody, we are the consciousness, right? And we're independent of what we're watching. And then a very interesting inquiry comes up. There must be a way to break free of the magical hold that the psyche has on your awareness, which we've talked about, okay? There must be a way out. This inner breakthrough to complete freedom is traditionally depicted by the overused and generally misunderstood term enlightenment. Do put in your thoughts about the word enlightenment. I'd really like to know, so put your comments in. Hello Avril, hello Afshan. So yeah, and he also has, actually the reason why I did this, use my fingers as double quotes, is because Michael has actually put them in double quotes. Okay, this inner breakthrough to complete freedom is traditionally depicted by the overused and generally misunderstood enlightenment. Since most people have never had experiences in this realm, the state of enlightenment is either scoffed at completely or viewed as the ultimate mystical state accessible to almost no one. It's safe to say that the only thing most people know for sure about enlightenment is that they're not there. Okay, so about this very briefly. Like I said, I'll be waiting, to read your comments about enlightenment. But meanwhile, let me share what I would like to say about it. When I began my journey in words about 10 years back, I started reading a lot of books of spiritual people, and their journeys and their experiences. A lot of books. I've read a lot of books. Swami Yogananda ji's and Ramana Maharishi, and Mahavtar Babaji, and so many like that. I've even got tons and tons of books. No, I will not tons and tons, but lots of books on Sri Aurobindo. Been to ashrams, been to a lot of meditations, done a lot of that, and listening to all that stuff. Yes, it became a quest at that point to reach enlightenment, but then it was also like a thought in my mind that oh my God, all these people are great saints. I read books on Sai Baba also, and all of them, right? So there's no way that we simple human beings living our day-to-day lives can ever reach that state of enlightenment, because they from whatever I read, they just gave up everything, and just focused on connecting with the divine and Buddha himself and things like that, right? So that's the kind of message that I how do I say this? I wouldn't say that they conveyed that message, but that's how I perceived it. That's what I received as a regular human who was just living a life with, a home and work and children and all of that. That enlightenment is not something I can do, but it's just something. It's good to know. It's good to be on the path. Maybe, I don't know. What if I just get a glimpse of it? Did I experience something like that in my meditation the other day? So on and so forth. I would have so many questions like that, and I would go on. So that's what he says, that it's safe to say that the only thing most people know for sure about enlightenment is that they are not there. What if consciousness were to remove its focus from your personal set of thoughts, your personal set of emotions, and your limited sensory input? Would you become untethered from the bonds of the personal self and be set free to explore beyond? Interesting questions, no? I'm going to read that again. What if consciousness were to remove its focus from your personal set of thoughts, your personal set of emotions, and your limited sensory input? What do we mean over here? What if consciousness were to remove its focus? So, all this while, Michael has been saying that just be present in there, and watch from the back. Watch your emotions, watch your thoughts, watch your emotion, watch your thoughts. That's what he's been saying. And then, see what comes up, deal with it, let it go, release it, don't block it. But you are the witness, you are the subject, and those are objects. So have that, subject, object. So I'm really sorry. My body is, it seems like I'm yawning. It is, but it's happening because I'm feeling extremely cold. My room here, I moved into a new home a couple of months back, and it's extremely cold here. I love it, but it's cold. So to avoid that jittery thing, I think I'm taking in deep breaths. So my apologies. I'm not able to control that. So going back to what I was saying, that consciousness within, that awareness, okay, which is watching with your own thoughts and emotions and whatever I said. What if it were to remove its focus from your personal set of thoughts and emotions and your sensory input? Would you then become untethered, remove that, from the bonds of the personal self and be set free to explore beyond? For this, he says, we will begin exploring the untethered state through a short story of a very special house. So I'm not going to go, I'm not going to be reading the entire story here because it's like 3 pages long. However, I will give you the gist of what he says. He says that imagine that you found yourself in the midst of an open field where the sun was always shining. Okay, so, and he starts from there. Now, it's very interesting, this story, because literally 2 days back, and I haven't read this book yet. Okay. Hi, Ravi. Good to know that you're liking this today, Avsha. So, back to the story. I was thinking about it just a couple of days back, that what if I were to be in a place, because I'm so tired of all this noise, all this chaos of the city, okay, the traffic and the up and down and the running and everything. And I go and find myself an absolutely secluded place somewhere, and I just want to go and be there, and I'm also quite getting too hassled with all the noise in my head. So I thought, what if I decide that I'm going to go and get settled somewhere for some time, for a nice long period of time in a jungle somewhere. So I go there and I build myself a nice place. I start building a nice place. And because I'm going to be in the jungle for a long time, I make sure that this construction is well protected. I'm sorry, I'm moving the camera because my phone battery is on charge. Yeah. So, I make sure that the house is built properly, very well lit inside, because there's going to be no current and everything. So I have all the necessary equipment to ensure that I have, enough light during the dark, any kind of weather conditions. So it's well covered, protected, and stocked up enough food for a very, very long time, so that I don't have to keep going out interacting with people, and I can just spend time in there all by myself, meditating, reading, writing, whatever that I've been wanting to do for a long time. This is his story. It's very interesting how it's matching with what I was thinking about a couple of days back. And I've locked myself up in the house, and I'm so thoroughly enjoying staying there all by myself, that absolute silence. And then I realized that, there's a lot of light coming in during the daytime, and it's getting very warm because it's not like air conditioned and stuff like that. So I have a lot of covers there. So I draw the curtains, and it becomes nice and dark and cool inside. Okay. So very rarely over the period of days, I draw the curtains, because it's all right. I'm getting used to it, and I begin living there day in and day out. I'm just in that house, not going out anywhere. Now imagine days, weeks, months not interacting, very happy, settled over there. Food is there, water is there. I'm well stocked. There's no problem at all. At some point, it begins away from my memory why I even came here, where I am, what is outside, that there is a natural source of light, and I'm just living there. And one day I realized that I no more have candles, and the bulbs are beginning to go bad, and it's getting darker and darker in the house. Okay, and now I'm beginning to struggle to keep enough light, because I want to read, I want to write. And then I begin to realize that I'm not able to do that, but my only focus becomes keeping the light enough in the house. And in order to save whatever candles and bulbs I have, I start getting used to keeping myself in the dark as much as possible till night comes in, and then whatever little I can, take on, use one or two candles and things like that. So now I've completely forgotten that I am in a beautiful forest that has daylight outside, like, so much of daylight outside. It's just gone from my mind, because I'm so focused out of my fear to save whatever little light that I have inside that house, that I've become accustomed to living in the dark as much as possible. So this condition continues and continues till such time I can't bear the darkness anymore. I've run out of all the candles and the light and everything. Okay, and then suddenly just one day this thought, I've just given up. I'm not even afraid now, it's just there. And then I suddenly remember where I am. And this thought crosses my mind, what if I step out? What is out there? I've forgotten. So that's where I'm going to continue reading. The visual, he continues. You are inside a house totally sealed off from natural light, and the have an open field full of brilliant light. The walls are made of your psyche. He's giving the whole analogy. My story, his story, is about the inside of us. It is all your past experiences, all your thoughts and emotions, all the concepts, views, opinions, beliefs, hopes, and dreams that you have collected around yourself. You hold them in place on all sides. So the house that we constructed is all of this, right? From birth, value systems, principles, whatever we were taught at home, the do's and don'ts, the rights and wrongs, acceptable, not acceptable, emotions, feelings, thoughts, all of that, social norms. हर एक उससे हमने ये घर अंदर बनाते गया. And जो the light that we're talking about, that is out there, that vast light, that's the light of consciousness. Okay, but we pulled it into this lifetime to be, I pulled mine in to be causer with my thoughts and emotions. उस घर में उसको बंद करके रख दिया. But now that I've started releasing all this and pulling down the walls, then suddenly my consciousness is saying, hey, okay, what is beyond this? That's what we're talking about. You have walls of thought thick enough and close enough to where nothing but darkness is inside that structure. You're so entranced into paying attention to your own thoughts and emotions that you never go beyond the borders they create. That which you collected from your past forms a boundary that you intuitively want to avoid. We've talked intensively about avoiding things yesterday. That's natural. That's what we do with walls. We avoid running into them. But because you avoid running into them, they lock you inside their perimeter. They become your prison because they are the boundaries of your awareness. Now that sentence really struck me over there. That my awareness is infinite, but somewhere because of these walls, it's become its boundaries not to expand beyond that, beyond myself. And wow, it just felt like, oh God, no, there's so much more that I can breathe. It's like right now, the example that I'm getting is we don't even realize when we're talking or just sitting or reading or doing something, we don't realize we're taking such shallow breath. But actually, when you make an effort, there's so much more space in there to take a nice deep breath. So sometimes in exercises, meditations and things like that, or yoga exercises, activities, like take a nice deep breath in and like, oh my God, there's so much space inside to breathe so much, right? So it's like that. The awareness suddenly, it's like, these are not the walls, there's so much more. So because you're not willing to approach them, you cannot see what is beyond them, but you can go there. Okay? You will realize that darkness is not what's really there. What is really there are the walls that are blocking the infinite light. When you're looking for light, that is a crucial distinction. I really, really like this. It took me, I intentionally read it about 2-3 different times to understand what he's really meaning here. What is really there are the walls that are blocking the infinite light. When you're looking for light, that is a crucial distinction. So here, if you see a wall and it is protecting you from unending darkness, you will not want to go there. So if your walls are created to protect yourself from darkness, then why would you want to go to that wall? Isn't it? Think about it. Because it's like going to that wall is like, that there's nothing, you think that you think that there is nothing but darkness there. So to protect from that darkness, you've put a wall there. So why would you go to that wall? However, what he says is, but if you see a wall that is blocking the light, you will want to go there in order to remove that wall. Yeah? Makes sense? It is often said that you must go through the darkest night in order to get to the infinite light. This is because what we call darkness is really just blockage of light. You must go past these walls. Tell me, people, how is this reaching you? Please write. I would love to know that this message, how has it touched you right now? This distinction that he talks about, that when you're looking for light, that is the crucial distinction. If you see a wall and it is protecting you from unending darkness, you will not want to go there. But if you see a wall that is blocking the light, you will want to go there in order to remove the wall. So please do write. I would love to know. Time and again, every day, the natural flow of life collides with our walls and tries to tear them down. But time and again, we defend them. You must realize that when you defend yourself, you're really defending your walls. There is nothing else to defend in there. There's just your awareness of being and the limited house you built to live in. What does it mean here that time and again, every day, the natural flow of life collides with our walls and tries to tear them down? How many times have we experienced not knowing what to do? I'm just taking one example, not knowing what to do, okay? And a very different thought from the usual crosses our mind. And how often do we take it seriously? It's like, what rubbish. I'm not going to do that. No, let me just think of something more practical, more logical, more doable. Have you experienced that? Was a life trying to show a little bit of light through those walls, being practical, being logical. It is good. I'm not saying that's not good. You can be practical, you can be logical, you can be rational also. But allow it with the light of life also, not within those limited walls of the past and the projected future. This is how I want it to be. Trust a little bit that the universe, the divine, life, God, whatever you'd like to say, knows a little better than us what is good for us. So if we can do that and allow, yeah? You must realize that when you defend yourself, you're really defending your walls. There is nothing else to defend in there. There is just your awareness of being and the limited house you built to live in. I'm sorry, just give me a moment. I seem to have closed a bracket and I can't seem to find where the open bracket is. Just one moment. Here it is. If something happens to challenge the walls of your psyche, you get highly defensive. You have built a self-concept, moved inside, and now you defend that home with all that you have. But what creates that inner home other than the walls of your thoughts? When you say, I'm a woman, I'm 45 years old, I'm married to so-and-so, and I graduated from this school, all of that, those are thoughts. The actual situations don't exist in there with you except in the form of thoughts that you cling to. He writes, but I was a cheerleader and I was a president of my senior school. Psst, he says, that was 30 years ago. But that is stuck. We're holding on to that in our mind. Those situations don't exist anymore, but they exist inside of you. And they form the walls in which you live. What if somebody challenges your self-concept and breaks a little hole in it? What if somebody manages to shake one of those foundational thoughts that the house of your psyche is built upon? Tremendous fear and turmoil can open up inside of you simply because something is not the way you thought it was. So, for example, I went to this school and I was very focused what I wanted to do, and I went to this college and I got my degree, and then I got my master's, and I did this because I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I'm so successful, and I'm doing this job and I'm climbing the ladder. Very good, superb. I'm so glad you're doing that, right? You've already even imagined, created a future 40 years or 30 years down the line, that this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm sorry, I'm fiddling with this again because the phone battery charge is suddenly stopping. So we've created this whole, how it's going to be, 20, 30 years from now, and we're living, and future bhi pura bana diya. It's not even like we've lived it and retired and stuff like that. So when we create goals, like we create goals, it's superb to have goals. यार बनाओ, बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है goals बनाओ, लेकिन थोड़ा life को भी उसमें साथ में आने दो ना. It's like nee, this is not the way I had planned out things. So I'm not going to try this. I'm not going to deviate. Those are those walls. That's where the light is trying to come in, to show you some more possibilities, some more opportunities, where we think that if I take these 10 steps, I will get there. What if the universe wants to tell you, hey, you know what, buddy? All you need to do is just take one left and then 5 steps, and you'll go beyond what you've imagined. But we uncertainty को हम पसंद नहीं करते ना, तो फिर वो वॉल बन जाता है वहाँ पे. जो दरवाज़ा खुल रहा था, जो खिड़की खुल रही थी, हम उसको फटाफट बंद कर देते हैं, तो सिर्फ उसी पे चलना चाहते हैं. So tremendous fear and turmoil can open up inside of you simply because something is not the way you thought it was. It shakes you to the core of your being because it challenges the house of thoughts in which you are dwelling. You patched that hole up very well, he says. That's what we do with our walls. We keep them solid. Nothing is allowed to shake those walls. That's what we do. Just like the people who fearfully locked the inside. We decorate our walls with the memories of experiences and with our dreams of the future. You can step outside your house of thoughts into the unlimited. Your awareness can expand to encompass vast space instead of the limited space in which you dwell. That is your journey out. Enlightenment is a very... One should focus instead on the walls of your... blocking the light. That's all we have to do. Take down the walls you hold around yourself. Don't participate in supporting, maintaining, and defending a fortress. A house of thoughts standing in the middle of an ocean of light from 1,000,000,000,000 stars, crumbling down, and the effortless release of consciousness to the brilliance of what is and was. I'm whispering because if you are in that ocean, and if you're visualizing your walls bit by bit, stay with that.